Well, here's the thing. This is insane, what I'm about to tell you. I don't know if, well, I do know that you're a faith-based, believe in something. Thank God I believe in something bigger than me.
Yes.
Or else everything I just said would be like, why am I even here? So 2 adoptions fall through. And by the way, each of those, Seamus would have been out of the country for both of them, should they have happened. He would have been in Japan for one and Tasmania for the other. He's either in the CIA or a liar, by the way. I'm always like, sure, you have to go away. Anyway, and so he wouldn't have been there. Like, I was going to have to go get that child all by myself. Like, my parents would have come,
wow.
but that's not how I would have. I mean, at the time, I was like, we'll do whatever. He's like, FaceTime me. So in hindsight, that was weird. Now, both of them, and I want to say too, that if any child can end up with their blood family, assuming it's a safe and healthy environment, that's
Right.
always the hope. So we had 2 fall through, and we went away for my 40th birthday, 2018. And I had said to Seamus, I'm like, I just need to get away. I want just a fun weekend. And we went away to this place. We rented this house almost as big as this place in Gatlinburg. And we had 35 of my friends showed up.
Fun.
We went to Gatlinburg. It was the week before Thanksgiving, which was also, or a couple days before Thanksgiving, which is a couple days before my 40th birthday. And I'm like, let's just go have a fun weekend. We go. It was the most incredible weekend of my life outside of getting my child, because there was no drama. With adults, I had musicians there and a chef friend. We just like ate and drank to the best of the best. We played music outside. Actually, one guy that I want to set you up with, but that's another conversation. Was there for another day. Anyway, played music and sang these amazing songs out on the porch, and it was like everybody laughed till we cried. It was the best weekend. On the drive home from that, mind you, again, Seamus and I are driving home back to my house, where my whole family is on the way from Texas to spend Thanksgiving at our house. And I said to him, I'm like, I'm just going to text the attorney so we're not out of sight, out of mind. Mm-hmm. And he's like, are you sure you're ready to and I said, yeah, let's do it. So I pull up my phone. I start to type a text to our attorney to say, any leads? Before I can send said text, my phone goes off. It's our attorney, and she says, there is a child being born as we speak in Fayetteville, Arkansas. The birth mom has said, you guys can pick the name. This is your child. Get to Arkansas.
Oh my gosh.
And so we raced back to Nashville to my house, grabbed some bags, looked at my family and said, hey, good news, bad news. You can stay, but we ain't gonna be here. Help yourself to the cheese in my fridge. And we drove to Arkansas. I was like booking an Airbnb in the car on the way. I found a place called Hope's Cottage. Obviously, I booked that.
Oh my gosh.
Shout out to Hope's Cottage in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And that was a Tuesday. We checked into our Airbnb Wednesday morning and just sat there, like cleaned the place. And Freya came home with us. We showed up at the hospital on Thursday morning. I had a picture of the birth mom and a picture of the translator, because she did not speak English. The birth mom did not. Freya is Marshallese from the Marshall Islands. So we had a translator, picture of the birth mom, and I had given them my car seat to walk out with. And Seamus and I just stood in the hospital parking lot waiting for these people to come out and hand us their baby. Oh. And she got in the car and came home with us that Thursday, which was Thanksgiving Day. So we went back to our Airbnb, and the woman whose Airbnb it was brought us left her Thanksgiving dinner and brought us plates. Can you imagine if you owned a house, an Airbnb, and someone's like, I'm bringing my child home to your house? I would be like, screw my family. Like, we're doing it was.
Well, I can't stop crying to even ask you a next question.
It was amazing when we first
gorgeous.
told her.
That's like just the most gorgeous.
Yeah. And she was my kid. In answer to your question, everybody wants to know. Every woman who can't carry themselves wants to know, am I going to connect? Am I going to feel like I'm the mom? You are. I mean, if it's the right child, that sometimes they fall through even at that point. I will admit, I think about, it is in the back of my mind constantly the phrase adopted, more so me than my husband. And I had an energy healer tell me one day, she goes, you are always aware that she's adopted. You have to let that go. I haven't been able to let that go yet, I will admit. but not in a way that it means she's not my child. It's more so like, I know, I always feel like I have to overly explain things to people, which is annoying. I'm working on that. Like, it's just more so that I'm constantly aware it's a part of our story in a good way. Like I love that. Once again, I love to be able to
talk to
pursue.
her about that she's adopted?
So
Do you talk to her about her birth mother?
a little bit, yeah. She got in my car in preschool about 2 years ago and got in and said, wasn't ready for this at 3:00 on a Tuesday. Got in the back of the car and said, "Mommy, did you buy me?" And I was like, oh my God, are we doing this now? Okay. Turns out I thought someone said something at school. They didn't. She, after talking to her, she's like, well, I just want these new jeans. And when we want something, we buy it. That's what she was talking about, as far as I know. But the next thing that came out of my mouth was, well, mommy's tummy didn't work. And so God put you in another lady's tummy. And then she brought you to us and we're your mom and dad. She's like, cool. What was that lady's name? She said, and I'm like, oh. So I told her. And then she was like, can we go to the park? And I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. Like, good, we're done with that. And we've just wanted everything to be organic like that. I mean, she was also laying in bed one day with us a year before that. And she said, Mommy, your skin's white. And I said, yeah. And I said, what color's your skin? She said, my skin's brown. I said, yeah. And I said, what color's Daddy? And she goes, he's kind of yellow. I was like, he's a little jaundicey, actually. And then she asked for some Cheerios. So like, we wanted everything to be organic. She knows she was not in my stomach. And so she asked about that a lot. The word adoption hasn't really trickled out yet. But I've always heard 7 is the age where they kind of, and it's funny, she turns 7 tomorrow. And all of a sudden it's showing up in more questions. So
wow. When you and I have talked in the past, you've said one of the things you really wanted to be able to say in your story and to now our viewers is that you wished adoption had been presented as a first choice, not a last choice. And I wanted to just speak to how powerful you feel about that, because I think there's so many people who would love to adopt, but maybe they come to it tentatively because they feel like they have to go through all the other things first.
For sure. Yeah, I think that, we think we're supposed to do things a certain way, so we go about it. I mean, I believe in it so much that I really did buy First Adoption, adoption.com. I'm already talking with my church about that I didn't really know what to do with it, but I was like, listen, I'm not trying to start an adoption agency, but I would like to be someone who facilitates the conversations with other people and say, if you don't know where to go first, come to me and let's talk about your story. Because I think people don't know what to do or where to go, so they just do what they're told. That's why I went to the fertility clinic. Shame on that doctor.
Just say, I assume you're going to go down the road.
Yeah. She's like, here's the pamphlet.
Let's really talk about some things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that you have to ask a lot of questions. I'm a curious researcher by nature, so I looked around. I did everything I could once we went down this path, but not everybody is that. So I just think it's way more. We also don't know what we don't know, and we think as a woman, this is what I'm supposed to do. No, I mean, Jennifer Aniston said it best once. I'll never forget seeing this quote from her on Mother's Day. And she said, we are all mothers. Whether you pushed a child out of your vagina or not, we are all mothers. We're mothers to our friends. We're mothers to our friends' kids. We're mothers to our nieces and nephews, our dogs, and that hit me. So that has always stuck with me. And so I just had to come to, I'm like, I don't care how I do it. I just want to add to our family.
Right.
And honestly, I was like, cool, I don't have to be pregnant for 9 months. I can still drink for 9 months. I'm not going to get fat. I'm not going to tear up my hoo-ha. Like, that was all the things. I'm like, let me get to lean into all the good stuff now that I get from it.
Okay, we just got to give her a round of applause for that one. That was so good.
Well, you got it. You got to be like, how do I empower myself now that this is my story? Let's lean in. And then honestly, to lean out of the heavy, like once we decided, I was so, every time the phone rang, we're like, is this it? Is this it? You know, it became so fun and exciting. And it was like, who's going to be in our story? It's way more interesting, or it can be if you lean in the positive of it.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's so cool to see, like, I wrote a song called It Was Beautiful with my dear friend Chris Roberts and Michelle Prentice, who's one of the best singers in town, that she's put out. You can hear it. I'll put out a version soon. But the line was, it's about Freya. And I look in your eyes. I know they're not mine, but you'll always have my heart. And it's so cool to see now what Freya gets from me and from my husband that aren't physical, but like she was at 3 weeks old. Because by the way, back up, I told you Freya comes home with us Thanksgiving. 2 days later, Seamus had to leave for Africa. And so I came home alone with this baby, and I was singing at Tootsie's in downtown in Nashville at the time. I threw her in a harness and a sling on me, and she was on stage with headphones on stage at 3 years old at Tootsie's.
Oh my gosh.
And 3 weeks old. 3 weeks old. 3 weeks old. That's, some people will frown on that, but whatever. She's fine. She's thriving. Everybody get your own life. It's fine. So she, she's naturally, like, she can match pitch. She hears music. I walked in the other day and she was sitting on the piano, just tinkering, looking out the window. And I was like, oh my God. So like the things, she loves to go fast, like my husband. She's a adventure seeker like him. He got her a motorcycle for her birthday tomorrow. Help me, Jesus. So it's really fun to see what she pulls from us. So anybody, worried about, will I connect? Will they be my kid? They are. The answer is yes. Like, call me. I will tell you the great things about it. It should be a first option. Maybe not for everybody, but it should be a first option.
No, I love you saying that. I love how passionate you are about wanting others to really understand. It doesn't have to be a last option.
Yeah.
As you know, my sister adopted a child from Haiti now 12 or 13 years ago. And
I need to get together with
you
her.
have to get together. Yes. But just an amazing story. And that child has united our family. Her name is Missy. She's just been one of the great loves of my life.
I bet.
And she's taught us all so much. Well, we have all learned so much through her and her adoption journey,
Yeah.
And how she was told and what she wants to hear and what she wants to run away from. And, but we have all grown so much through Missy's journey with us.
I bet.
I do want to go backwards just a little bit.
I love going backwards. That's the story of my career.
Yeah.
So great. Let's go.
I think one of the I look at your life, I look at all the stuff you've done. And so before this great miracle of Freya, there were a lot of stages. There were a lot of tour buses. And somehow you became a voice for the trucking community.
So weird, right?
Can you please help me tell me that story?
The long story short, so I'm from Texas, and I was performing when I moved to we were in LA before Nashville. And when I moved here, I was singing downtown at Tootsie's, and I realized that, in downtown Nashville, it's a place where you can gain an audience without ever having to leave Broadway. And so I started, as people would come into town, I'd be like, where are you from? Where do you live? Where should I play? And I kind of started touring that way, just people that were into me. If they were into me and came up on stage and liked me, I'd be like, where are you? I'll come to you, kind of thing. And built a fan base that way. And then I got booked to play through my father, actually, who was in the trucking world. I got booked to play a thing called the Great American Truck Show back in Dallas. And I was singing, listen, it was not glamorous. I was singing like back in the on a conference floor, back by the bathroom, singing Itsy Bitsy Spider to truck drivers' kids. Like, with like, you'd hear the flushing come back, it was real entertainment.
That is one of the best, least glamorous gigs.
Oh, I've had, and that is probably one of the highlights. I've had some even worse than that, And I heard about a program called Highway Angel that recognizes truck drivers that have saved lives out on the road. And I went up to them and I said, can I write a song called Highway Angel for your program? And I'll never forget the president at the time. He said, no, that's going to be horribly cheesy or horribly depressing. And I was like, well, maybe, but let me try. So my co-writer, Chris Roberts, and I wrote this song. They ended up loving it and it sort of became an anthem. And they named me their spokesperson. Oh, wow. And I realized, I put together a thing called the Highway Angel Truck Stop Tour. We did free concerts for truck drivers across the country. And it was a real give back for them. And I realized the similarities between a touring musician, a truck driver, anybody who has to travel for work, period, right? We deal with the same things, being gone from family and alone and trying to stay healthy and blah, all the things. And I was like, this is an unseen audience that we do not exist without. Like, America can do nothing. We can do nothing without
our
truck
trucks.
drivers.
I know, but people, I mean, I don't think we really include it in our gratefulness or our
No.
awareness of how much it gives to us. No, you're exactly right. How old were you when that was happening?
That was about 18 years ago. I'm 42,
Okay,
30,
okay.
about 30 years old.
I mean, young in the business.
Yeah.
And now you co-host a radio show that's directed at truckers. The name is
Road Gang Radio.
Road Gang Radio.
Yeah.
Lindsay Lawler.
We talk to drivers out on the road, and it's been really funny because my whole thing has been I've sang at and spoke at so many trucking conferences over the years, and you go to these things and it's people in the industry telling each other how great the industry is in trucking. While I'm like, we've got to take that word outside so that like you get it
Outward
now,
facing,
but
yeah.
but you maybe never would have thought of it.
Right.
Like the term, if you got it, a truck brought it. Like that's real.
Yeah.
Do you want all your free crap? Well, or all the crap that shows up on your doorstep every day or at the grocery store? Like you need a truck, guys. And it's gotten such a bad rap of big fat trucker kills family of four. I mean, I hate to be cliche, but that is what people think when you're scared of them on the freeway. And I'm here to tell you that they are some of way better, secure people. A lot of them chose to get in this industry because they don't want to be around people, and I get it because people can be difficult. I mean, not you or me, but other people.
Oh, I don't know. You might need to get to know me a little bit better, Lindsay.
Oh yeah, I can see that actually. I can see that. No, and so I was like, this is an audience that needs to be celebrated. It's a fight every day to still try to celebrate them, but the show Road Gang Radio, which you can hear on iHeart and all streaming platforms. We talked the first 2 hours. My co-host Jimmy Mack talks to drivers. How he says the first 2 hours are how they make a living. So that's policy and logistics, and I say the boring stuff, but unfortunately the necessary stuff. And then I show up on the scene. The second 2 hours are how we make a life. So I get to talk to, and we bring on songwriters, authors, anybody, roadside attractions, like anything that you could see or do on the road, or RV life, camping life, hunting, fishing, anything that somebody traveling would be interested in. And then what's really funny, Theresa, I think you'll love and appreciate this, because like 2 years ago, I said I wanted truck drivers to call in with their after New Year's to tell me your word of the year. And I'm trying to get them to make vision boards. And some people were like, oh my God, you were so annoying. But lo and behold, a couple weeks later, I start getting pictures. My inbox flooded with truck drivers with their vision board up in their truck. And them being like, look, I put that house I wanted and now I'm living, I'm like.
I love it. Okay, that's very cool.
And then started my show, We Should Write, which you have been on as well. One of my favorite episodes. And people were like,
right?
Right. Thank you for getting it. And now drivers we talk about the healing power of writing, which you may think, why would a truck driver care about that? Because he or she is human and we all should care about that. And now drivers are starting to send me little blurbs of like stuff they're healing through writing. So
that's gorgeous.
That's cool.